Good morning, and greetings from sunny Winnipeg. Well, the sun this morning, when it first started getting going, the clouds were determined that they were not going to let the sun shine through on the model table, but eventually it peeked through. Yeah. Now, we do have a rollback. I did come back to the model table. And I had a bit of a disaster. At least I felt it was a disaster. It was just a very tiny little thing, but to me it was a big deal. You'll see in the rollback. Anyway, I guess I got a little bit careless with this thing. Rather than sitting here telling you about it, why don't we just sort of roll back and see what happened. Okay, continuing right along. We are going to remove what I call the spider and the ring that we're going to try and solder it to. Now, I had been thinking that these legs got attached to these little parts here, but now that I remember, these parts got bent down and they would sit on top of the plastic ring that we glued on top of the funnel. And that gave a bit of a space. And these things here, they got soldered down onto this thing wherever they happened to, you might say, look good. They really had nothing to do. Well, I guess this center one, it would come right here. But this one here, I don't think it matches up with this. And this one here, just let me move you in a bit. Okay, this one here, it doesn't match up with anything over here. So it just sort of is going to sit on there and get soldered in place. This one will match up with this one. Okay, so what we're going to want to do here is, I guess the first thing we've got to do is remove this ring. Okay, now we'll just go right up to the edge of it and nip it off. I'll put the macro lens on. Now, I haven't sharpened my cutter for a while, but I think it's okay yet. No! No! I cut off the wrong one. Guess I wasn't looking close enough. Now what am I going to do? There's no way I'm going to be able to solder that back on. I don't think. Oh, Ron. And you know, it's funny, just before I started doing it, I was thinking to myself, I want to be careful not to cut the wrong place. For instance, I was thinking, I don't want to cut here, I want to cut here. Oh. Well, it's not the end of the world, I guess. Well, it kind of is. I don't think I can solder that piece on. I'm going to keep a hold of it and see if possibly I can, but I'm better off. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just don't know what I'm going to do. That was so stupid. I just can't believe I did that. Well, okay, let's not beat it to death here. Maybe I'll use a different hand here. Okay, I don't think it matters which way this goes up. I think it's going to be the same either way. There's no folding lines or anything like that, because the curve that we're going to bend in it is going to be gradual, so folding line would be useless. Okay, let's see if we can put some sort of a nice gradual bend on these, like we did on the other ones. Okay, this is ladder A15. It is a rather unusual ladder railing combination. In that it bends several places. For instance, you can see a folding line or a bending line right there. So that means this whole thing probably has to be held out from something. Okay, I was afraid it could go pinging off because it looked like it was kind of loose. Okay, so you can see there's a folding line right there. There's a folding line right there. So maybe if I study the diagram, I'll be able to figure out how it's supposed to go here. Okay, A21. Okay, now ladder B16 here. It's very much like the one we got off the A sprue. It's got the unusual folds in it. Now I think that if I try to solder this little piece on here, I think what's going to happen is I am just going to, I don't know, I think it'll be just too frustrating to try and solder that on. It has to go right here, something like this. And you know, once again, to give you perspective, let's stick my finger in it. I think it's going to be too hard. I don't think I'm even going to try. What I'll do is I will rely on the fact that I'll rely on this piece and this piece holding this part section up off of the plastic ring that's on the top of the funnel. And I think one of the things that bothers me most about this is not so much that it happened, so much as that I didn't notice what I was doing. I think maybe it's because I was starting to talk about something, and I just wasn't paying attention. But it's got to go something like that. I don't think I could solder it, and I'm almost sure that CAing it on isn't going to work. Okay, we want to take this and curve it like this so that it will eventually fit on this. Now, I can't remember what I rolled this piece on before when we did it with the hood, or was it the Bismarck and the hood? They were straight. I can't remember, but I'm going to try it first just on the manual here. It might be soft enough, and then if it's not, then we'll use our little rubber thingies here. Now we only want to do the ends. Just a little bit, remember? Whoop, don't want it to slip off. What I need is a longer handle on this. Or a smaller bearing. There we go. Now I know, I realize we got it kind of bent in the wrong direction. Whoops, come back here. We'll straighten that out. Okay, now let's just sort of turn it over here and see what we got. Got a bit of a kink right there that I didn't want. Excuse me, I'm having trouble with my voice here this evening. Wonder if I could just straighten that out with a photo etch plier, just sort of pinch on it a little bit here. Yeah, I kind of got it. It's got a bit of a curve this way to it. Well, let's just see how are we coming here. Get that out of the way. Okay, I think we have to curve just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I'm going to do it off camera so I can get my angle just a little bit better while I'm holding onto this thing. Yeah, I think I should put a longer handle on this, although I may never need it again. Okay, now I think the way we soldered the other one on was we'd solder, like, say we'd get this one in the right place that I'm holding on to right now. Then we'd move to the opposite end and bend this one so it was in the right place right there. Then we went out to the sides and we'd do this, like this one, and then we'd do this one, and then we just sort of worked our way around. I think that's the way we did it. It seems to me that I had to rig up a heat sink so that I didn't accidentally, when I'm soldering, say this one, or this. Let's say I had soldered this one up, and then if I moved over to this one, the heat could quickly travel along and undo this one. We did get it. I'm gonna have to think about this for a bit here and stop poking at it. Well, I think we're going to call it a day, folks. Time is getting on, and this old model maker is getting tired, and he doesn't want to be making any more mistakes. So, yeah, we'll just reset up here in the morning and rig up a jig and a heat sink, and yeah, we'll see you in the morning. Well, it is morning. Now, I know that in some of these shots that I'm going to be taking for the rest of the day here, you're going to be noticing that I have taken off my nice white HMS Rodney shirt. And the reason for that is because I don't want to get it marked up while I'm messing around here with solder and stuff. Now, the idea is I'm going to take and put a little bit of, let me zoom in a bit. Put a little bit of solder right there. And looking at it now, I'm realizing that it might be a good idea to bend these tabs down the way they're supposed to go. That is what's left of these tabs. This one over here is missing. Okay, we won't talk about that anymore. Now, I'm going to do that off camera because it's sort of a delicate job, and I want to be able to make sure I don't break off any more tabs than I already have. Thought I wasn't going to talk about it. Anyway, then we'll recompose. I can see where doing it like this might work quite well. Now, naturally, I know that this end over here, it's way off, but we can stretch it into place after this one is soldered into place, because the solder joint is incredibly strong. It's not like if you use CA glue or something like that. I highly recommend that if you can solder your photo etch pieces together, go for it, because it's way stronger. Anyway, just let me bend these down and then we'll get back here. Okay, I think because I'm likely to knock the spider off of the ring. And why won't this come out? There we go. I better put my little dollop of solder on right now. It won't stick on there. Just hanging on by a thread. It's probably going to fall through onto the green cloth, isn't it? I don't think I've ever had this happen before. There we go. Oh, no. Must be a little hair or something on the end of this thing. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had this happen before. Okay, press stop. Okay, we got it. Now, the second problem is going to be put a piece of paper there, and my concern is that when we put the spider on, the other end where the paper is could possibly fall through on me. Now that's just about right. Now I'm hoping that that solder is going to, flow in the right place. I'm pretty sure that this leg is actually touching the ring. Okay, let's get our soldering iron hot. Okay, and I'm wondering, should this leg, whoops, I bumped it. Should this leg maybe be going just a little bit more to the left here? Well, let's see what happens. Okay, we're at 370 degrees. Okay, about an hour has passed here since I soldered that up. And obviously I've turned everything around. And now I didn't wait the hour so that this would cool. I'm noticing I got a little thing sticking out there. I don't know if I dare touch it with the hot iron or not, or I risk actually releasing the soldering job and the whole thing fall apart on me. So I think maybe what I'll do later is I'll just take a piece of sandpaper and sanding stick rather and just sort of file that off. Don't know if you can see it or not. Probably we should be able to see it. Okay, now maybe what I should do is put our holder downer on here, on this end here. So I'm just going to rearrange, because I'm going to be wanting to pull this out into the right position and then sort of hold it down with the Bismarck holder downer. Okay, yeah, just give me a minute here. Okay, I've turned our apparatus around here, but this little piece of solder that's sticking out there that I'm going to take my sanding stick and sand it off in a minute here. Move in a little bit. Okay, so I support it from underneath here, and I think if I just basically let the weight of the sanding stick rub on it, I'm not going to break anything off. Should I put on the macro lens? Sure, why not? Okay, now we can really see that little spike or whatever it is of solder sticking up. Okay, I'm dulling the pointy end of it, there's no question about that. But what's happening is, because the rest of the spider is not fastened down, it's, I may be putting a little bit too much, don't get too exuberant here, Ron. I'm going to have to go at this after everything is soldered up and brace this end a little bit better. But I think, no, I could also just try and go really fast with the soldering iron and see if that'd take it off. I don't know why I'm worried about it. Now, how many times haven't you heard me say something like, I might have to do this off camera? Okay, if I could maybe Okay, where is the holder downer? Okay, I think this will work. I'm just going to have to... Yeah, that's going to work. I just have to find a good place to put the other end of the holder downer. I guess I sort of almost have here. Okay, that is perfect. Now, okay, we are back up to 370 degrees Celsius. And I think that's in the right place. Unless maybe it should go a little bit to the right here. I'm just going to use the... There, I think that's a little bit more square. Here we go. I think I might have done a better job on this one. Unless there's a point of solder sticking straight up at me and I can't see it. But it seems to be in the right spot. Okay, I'm going to go around now and try and line up all the others and get them soldered on. Total of 10 more altogether. And, yeah. Okay, boys and girls, that's gonna be it for today's episode. Now, that does not mean that I won't be coming back to the model table later this afternoon and this evening. And if I do, I'll put it in tomorrow's rollback. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.